wood, electricity, but each of these heat sources can create indoor air pollution during cooking. Now, natural gas and propane stoves can release carbon monoxide, other harmful pollutants, which can be toxic to the people as well as pets. But joining me to talk more about clean cooking and its impact is David Njugi, the CEO of the Clean Cooking Association of Kenya. Thank you for making time for us today.
Thank you, Maalika, for hosting me.
All right, so even as we begin, what exactly is the association aiming to do?
So the Clean Cooking Association of Kenya is the sector convener for clean cooking stakeholders in the country, both in government and the private sector. So it's a business member organization, mainly drawn from the private sector, to represent the interests of clean cooking stakeholders and also promote adoption of clean cooking technologies in Kenya that has impact on environment, health, and livelihoods in terms of wealth.
So if we talk about impact on health, and we look at Kenya, of course, the number of people using primary use fuels like wood, coal, kerosene, it's been estimated in 2019 was about 10.5 million people. And even that year, the deaths that were attributed to household pollution were 21,560. That's a lot of people, you know, that's just too many. So tell me more about the progress of how much exposure would you need to get to that point where your body cannot take any more, and how much awareness is there out there when it regards with regards to this kind of danger?
So in terms of the exposure that you need, it's continued exposure over a period of time. Most of the time it's over several years even. Around more than 90% of households in rural areas are using polluting fuels and stoves and technologies for cooking. So you can imagine the kind of that's more than 20 million Kenyans who are using the three-stone open fire to cook, charcoal, basically biomass, solid fuels to cook that is very polluting. So you need some continued exposure to that. There's no specific research that goes into now, you know, the nitty-gritty or to focus on exactly what time. And those are data gaps that will need to be filled. But in terms of awareness, there is to a certain extent quite a bit of awareness. But the interesting thing is that the adoption has not been as good.
Because of price?
There are various reasons. There are traditional or cultural reasons. People take quite a bit of time to change their cooking methods because they think this particular fuel is what cooks githeri or this particular meal better without the knowledge that can also be cheaper and more healthier and environmental friendly to use an alternative. So there's need to do quite a bit of awareness specific to behavioral change so that we get all Kenyans, you know, transitioning to cleaner fuels for cooking.
Okay, and if we look at technology playing into this space, what kind of developments have we seen in terms of this enhancing clean cooking?
So there is quite a bit happening. There's more that can be done, definitely. You've seen recently Safaricom has invested in an LPG technology for pay as you go, which is an innovation that will drive adoption of LPG or gas usage in the country, which is cleaner than firewood and other solid fuels. We've seen the introduction of new fuels such as ethanol, technologies that promote cheaper electric cooking. We've got pressure cookers that are quite efficient. You'll be surprised that they could be even cheaper than using gas. And this electricity, we've got improved cook stoves or more efficient cook stoves. We have one of the biggest manufacturers around in the region, barn manufacturers in Roiro, that does, who is one of our members that does a production of improved cook stoves.
Okay.
So there are a number of fuels and technologies on the appliances side that need to be supported to go to scale to create demand,
All right.
not only in Kenya but also in the region.
Okay, and if we look at Kenya, we've set 2028 as the target for achieving universal access to clean cooking technologies. That's ahead of the global 2030 target. So, you know, what kinds of policies need to be put into place in order to achieve this in that time frame?
Yeah, I must say that when the CS of Energy announced that we are bringing forward the target for universal access to 2028, everybody was caught aback because that's a very ambitious target, and we can't do business as usual. So there's need to have a number of catalysts to promote investment in that sector,
Okay.
R&D, innovation, like what technologies that you're seeing being adopted. We need policies to promote adoption and also to make these products more accessible, fiscal policy, reducing duty. And something I would like to mention is I saw, it was in the news the other day that there's talk of government reintroducing VAT on LPG, which will basically wear down all the gains that have been
It's contradictory.
gained. Yeah, basically. So the government needs to be aligned with these policies and targets so that we are consistent. Inconsistency in policy is something that really affects businesses, not only in clean cooking, but across all sectors.
Absolutely.
And there's need for that consistency.
So a 360-degree approach is, of course, required.
Exactly.
Well, David, thank you so much for joining me, of course, for giving us so much insight when it comes to clean cooking and the kind of fuel that can be used instead, and also the dangers that we're seeing a lot of Kenyans facing. So thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
All right, from that discussion, it's actually time to take a short break. But when we come back, we've got the BBC's Money Daily. On the other side, we've also got an interesting episode of Captains of Industry for you. So, of course, do stay with us right here.